Hi everybody, good evening and welcome to all the Tamil people of the world. The reason I'm shooting this video is to bring about an air of education to all who had seen Mr. Madan Gowri's video on Michael Jackson, which has the title The True Story, something like that. Well, I was very much inquisitive when I saw that title, so I wanted to check it out. So what I did was that I clicked the video. To my shock, the video started off with a statement from Mr. Madan Gowri saying that he never knew about Mr. Michael Jackson, and that only upon hearing the death of Mr. Michael Jackson, he came to his realization. Well, that was a terrific statement to make. So this goes to show what I was, or what I am exactly trying to tell the people of the world, specifically the people of Tamil Nadu, that this gentleman has got no information or no particular domain knowledge whatsoever on the topics that he's been talking. He has the ability to drabble his own heights of gibberish insinuations and then conclude or say that this is the fact. Predominantly, I have seen that he has this habit of preaching separatism. His videos are judgmental. Now, why do I say separatism? Say, for example, instead of focusing on the facts in sharing out information to the people who have clicked his videos to give them some sort of value, he is preaching what is called as divisionalism. Like the black people were treated like worse than dogs, they were chained by the white people, and the level of discrimination was worse. Always, I don't want to go into much detail. So what I observed is he has this habit of bad-mouthing America. Just for the sake of the viewers, America is one country where no matter what your race is, no matter what your color is, you are, in fact, your voice will be heard. Irrespective of what these people are insinuating and bad-mouthing America. Irrespective of that, your voice, irrespective of your color, your voice will be heard. And justice will be given to you, justice will be done to you. Without further ado, I feel it is my obligation to bring about an air of truth to Michael Jackson's life saga. Foremost, Michael Jackson's father's name is Joseph, and his mother's name is Catherine. Both of them are great musicians. Catherine was a pianist, as well as she had this ability to play the clarinet in a wonderful manner. She had a great musical career in country music, but she gave it all away for raising her children. Of course, Joseph Jackson, he himself was a great musician. So music ran in their blood, and because of these two great genes mixing together or joining together, biology took hold of the rest, right? So beautiful, giving forth beautiful children. All of them were great singers, great musicians, and of course, Mr. Michael Jackson was a superstar. Now, of course, we all would have heard that Jackson, during some of the interviews, Mr. Michael Jackson had mentioned that he had no childhood at all. The reason is he was all the time traveling. Why he mentions that? Mr. Joseph Jackson was working for US Steel. Now, US Steel was founded by Andrew Carnegie, and apparently during that time there was some turbulency with the US Steel, and US Steel got shut down. Joseph Jackson lost his job. So because of that, the family ran into some terrible situation, some terrible turmoil. So on account of that, the famous Jackson 5 band was formed, to sustain the family. So they were all the time on the move, and that is one of the reasons Michael Jackson had said that he had no childhood at all. Now, coming back to the birth of Michael Jackson, he was born on August 29th, 1958, and at Gary, Indiana. That was his place of birth, and he started his singing career when he was around 4 years of age. And from that time onwards, there were no turning back at all. So Michael Jackson was literally his parents recognized his talents. His parents recognized that Michael Jackson was a talented guy. Of course, all of the children were very talented, and Michael Jackson was the eighth child. The Jacksons are Mr. Joseph Jackson and Mrs. Catherine Jackson. They together had 10 children in all, and all of the boys were part of the Jackson's 5, except for Randy. Randy was not part of the group. That's Michael Jackson's brother. He was not part of the group, the Jackson's 5. The sake of Mr. Madan Gowri, how popular was Michael Jackson? It is imperative to mention here that Michael Jackson was and is the only superstar who was awarded the maximum number of awards in his lifetime. He received 13 Grammy Awards, 23 Guinness World Records, and 26 American Music Awards, and 40 Billboard Awards. So he was the most awarded musician, superstar, dancer in all times. Michael Jackson had a special relationship with the movie superstar Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was the first person to have awarded him, or I would say given him a Christmas gift in the year 1993. Because it's imperative to mention here that Michael Jackson belonged to the Jehovah's Witness. So according to Jehovah's Witness, they are not supposed to celebrate Christmas, they are not supposed to celebrate birthday parties, they are not supposed to celebrate Easters. Michael Jackson never celebrated Halloween at all. So there was no issue for him to trick anybody or to, so that was his lifestyle. And not only that, I do not know if people know that Michael Jackson was a great preacher too. Because since he was in Jehovah's Witness, he was mandatory. He was mandated to carry out 90 hours of preaching every month, and Michael Jackson did that. In fact, there are a lot of testimonials on the internet about personal experiences of people listening to a knock and opening the door, and they just see Michael Jackson there. In fact, and on one particular quote or one particular narration is that this person is narrating that Michael Jackson was so humble that this guy offers him a Pepsi or a Coke, but he declines it, and then he offers him a glass of cold water. So such is the humility level of great people, and Michael Jackson is really great. Okay, coming back to Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, we all know Elizabeth Taylor was a superstar, a movie star, a Hollywood blockbuster actor. She was the first person to have called Michael Jackson as a king of pop, as a king of rock and king of soul. From that time onwards, it was no turning at all. Surely, purely unimaginable, greater. He was truly the king of pop. So now it is worthwhile mentioning that in the year 1984, Michael Jackson suffered a great accident while shooting the Pepsi commercial. So what happened is that the fireworks that were to fire, the timing was inaccurate. And what happened is that his hair and his part of his face got burnt. Michael Jackson suffered a second degree and third degree burn. So during that Pepsi shoot, it was told that Michael Jackson underwent severe pain because his scalp was totally burned off. Part of his face was totally burned off, and he need to be on painkillers. Can you imagine your head being burned off and your face is burned off and you're in agony and pain? So he was on painkiller. Okay, coming back to Thriller, the album that showed the world the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Thriller is the only music album that has been included by the US Library of Congress to be featured to showcase American heritage. That's a prestigious case. That's a prestigious thing to have your album being included to showcase the American heritage. And another important point is that the guitar solo was played by Van Halen. Okay, Halen. He played the guitar solo for Thriller. Apparently, he didn't take a single cent from Michael Jackson for that, because of his love and respect for the king of pop. And another noteworthy feature that you have to know is that the robot dance and the moonwalk became so popular because of Michael Jackson. I hope you all know that Michael Jackson's song "Smooth Criminals." Do you know something? That particular song can never be replicated or never be reproduced by anybody. You know why? A special type of shoes were used by Michael Jackson that defied gravity. So Michael Jackson used to sway like that. The shoes were specially designed by Michael Jackson. The heel of the shoe was specially designed, and the brain was from Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had the brain to do that, and he holds the patent. So no one can replicate Smooth Criminals. So that's a great thing. That's the power of Michael Jackson's brain. So coming back to the humanity part of Mr. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the first of the few musicians, superstar, who voiced their support for HIV and AIDS patients. So he traveled to Africa on his humanitarian work, and so much so that his efforts were recognized by the then President of America, Mr. Ronald Reagan, and given an award titled Humanitarian. So that was a great recognition for Mr. Michael Jackson. So Michael Jackson had several exotic pets. He had a chimpanzee by name called Bubbles. He had a boa constrictor, a huge snake by name called Muscles. He also had some llamas. There was a question that was asked to Mr. Michael Jackson that why he is not condemning the press for spreading so many rumors which are not really acceptable. You know what Michael Jackson said? He just smiled and said, "It's a question of bread and butter for them." So Michael Jackson deliberately let those rumors, let these people badmouth him. So because he knew that only if they badmouth him, their newspapers and their media is going to be sold, right? Who's going to buy them if there are no rumors and gossips in newspapers and things like that? No one is going to buy if there are no gossips. So I wouldn't blame anybody for that matter. That's the greatness of Mr. Michael Jackson. To let people thrive, though he was hurt, though he was hurt by those false publicities. Do you know that during the USSR period, Michael Jackson was the only musician whose songs were never translated at all into Russian. They were just allowed to play without any translation. So that was the privilege, or that was the reputation that he commanded even in USSR, Russia. Since the video would get long, I wish to conclude that Michael Jackson left us in the year 2009 on June 25th at 3:15 p.m. Twitter crashed, American Online crashed, and Wikipedia crashed. Is such an unimaginable person. No one can ever. I have never seen anyone dance the moves that Michael Jackson danced. Of course, we can use the word like. He dances like Michael Jackson, but nobody can be compared to Michael Jackson, or even remotely even compared to the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Such was his aura, such was his charisma, and he has left a legacy that cannot be removed by time and cannot perish. That was the legacy that the king of pop, Michael Jackson, left. Michael Jackson married Debbie Rowe. He had 2 children through Debbie Rowe. Without so much, so I wish to conclude this video. Thank you.